Welcome to Global Business. I am your host, Dr. Neva, and today I have with me Chunyee. She is the expert when it comes to preparing not just tax, not just finance, but corporations. Yes. And today she's going to tell us a little bit about corporations and how to set it up. Welcome, Chunyee.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Neva, for inviting me. I'm very excited to be on your show. It's an honor. Thank you again.
You're so welcome. So can you tell us a little bit about the different corporations and how to set up a business?
Yes. So when someone wants to start a business, they have to consider about different type of business entity. Because if you don't do anything, you're going to be a sole proprietor. As a sole proprietor, it's very easy. You don't have to do anything. You just go, wake up one day and you tell people that's your services and people use your services, pay you, you have a business. The downside to that, there's no liability protections. If Dr. Neva, you just go out and just provide me with your services, and if someone sue you, they can go to your assets, you can take your car, take your home, because you didn't set up a corporation to protect your personal assets. So that's the downside to have a sole proprietor.
So are you saying that even if I'm an author, because you know, author, you just write your book and you continue.
Correct.
You're saying to me that I have to have a corporation to protect myself. What if I wrote something that shouldn't be in that book?
Right.
How do I protect myself?
Right. So you should set up a business corporation. You should set up a business entity to protect yourself, such as the LLC. There's the LLC. An LLC is very simple to set up.
Okay.
And then you get a business ID. You do have to register with your state and the IRS to get your tax ID, set up your business account under the tax ID, and then pay all your business-related expenses from your business proceeds. So it's separating your business from your personal financial affair. So if there's anything, when someone sue you, they can only take whatever that's in the LLC, not your personal yacht, not your personal house, not your fancy cars. Everything stops at the LLC level.
Can you explain to me a little bit more about the LLC? What's the purpose? What are the steps that they have to go through to set up the LLC and the requirements after they set up the LLC?
So set up an LLC is very easy to set up. It's a little bit costly because you have to, not only have to pay the New York State registration fee with New York State, you also have to publish in 2 newspapers for 6 weeks in the two local newspaper. And the cost for that is about from $300 to $1,000, depends on the county you're in. If you're in Manhattan County, obviously it's going to be more. Nassau County I think is the cheapest one. Brooklyn is a bit more. So it depends on the county you're in. You're required by law to advertise in 2 newspapers for 6 weeks.
Wow. And you're saying the cost of that can be a little bit up there, right?
Right.
So what are the other corporations that you can set up?
So if LLC is too expensive for you to set up, you don't have a few $100, $1,000, you can set up as an S corporation. S corporation is very, very easy to set up also, and you don't have to pay the publication. You just have to pay a few $100 to New York State, and then you get your tax ID from the IRS, and you're good to go. You set up a business bank account, you run everything through that business account, and just make sure you have to make the S election to be an S corporation, and you're good to go.
So you have the LLC, you have S corporation, and you have the C corporation. What's the difference between the C and the S?
So the biggest difference is double taxation. C corporation get a bad reputation of double taxation. If I'm a C corporation, my corporation makes money. My corporation is going to pay income taxes on the net income it makes. And then when the corporation pay out dividends to the shareholder, I also have to pay dividend tax. So I'm paying, the income is being taxed twice. One is income tax, one is personal dividend tax. So that's double taxation. So being an S corporation, you eliminate the dividend tax because the corporation has to pay income tax, but when they pay out to the shareholder, it's a distribution, it's not a dividend. So you don't have to pay dividend tax on the S corp level.
What would you recommend for a client if they had 1 employee?
Right. If you have 1 employee, depends on what type of corporation they want to be in, either an LLC or a S corporation. If you're a foreigner, just so you know, if you're a foreigner, you cannot be S corporation. So if you're a foreigner, you can either be LLC or has to be a C corporation. So if you're one employee, it doesn't matter which one you're in. Once you have one employee, you have to just remember you have to do payroll, you have to do workers' comp, you have to pay for workers' comp and disability. A lot of times I see that a company, they hire employees, but they don't do the filing properly, and they could get into trouble with the labor departments or the workers' comp board. Can you imagine if the employee get injured and then there's no workers' comp, or the employee got laid off and then he or she goes to the labor department and you never file for his or her behalf on a payroll return? That will cause a big problem. That's most of the time I see that happens.
Can you tell me a scenario or a challenge that you experienced with someone not filing the tax, not the tax, but their corporation the correct way?
Right. There are people that sometimes a shareholder or an owner doesn't even know what type of corporation they're in. I have a client, he came to me and he told me he's an S corporation. He just said, Chunyee, I'm S corporation. He's a very young, brilliant man. So I said, okay. And we filed for all the S corporation returns. And 3 years down the road, we get a letter saying that he's not an S corporation. So I go back and ask him. I said, you say you're S corporation. He said, yeah, I want to be S corporation. I'm an S corporation. I said, did you do the paperwork? And he said, oh, there's a paperwork to be done? So sometimes you have to talk to your accountants. I guess I should have asked more questions. So those sometimes we file the return not for incorrectly because we don't know the type of corporation the client's in, and the client sometimes they don't know either. So the communication is very important. There are times I have to call the IRS to find out what type of corporation my client's in, just to make sure I do the right thing.
Now, a little bit off of setting up the business, but what are things that business owners should do? They're set up now, you know, they have their corporation. Good. What's the next step? What are the things that they should be doing as tax related for their business? Right.
So once the company is set up, the owners start running their business. Most of the time, they got so busy, they got caught up with the day-to-day activities because they are the presidents, they're the secretary, they're the driver.
You tell me. Yes. Yes.
So they're everything, and they forgot to do the most important thing, which is accounting. My experience, a lot of business owner runs their business like chicken without heads. I was one. I'm still like one myself, try to get it organized. But it's very important that you have to go back to the basics and do your accounting, set up your accounting system. It's very basic, very simple. Once it's set up, it's very, very easy to take care of day-to-day accounting. But some people just never get the time to set it up. And now when they want to grow, they don't have a financial statement. Their tax return numbers inaccurate. So now when they want to grow and get a loan or get a grant or investors, their books are not lined up to do that. And they have to, I have a lot of clients that we have to go back year to fix the books, to do the returns, so we can show the bank, the investors, the real numbers and the true figures of the business. And we can also help the business on the plan how to grow by using those actual financial numbers.
Now, with a business, it's not the same as having your personal tax return completed. So is there a yearly tax that they should be filing, a quarterly tax? What are those dates that they should be filing their taxes?
They do. For corporations, it's also filed annually for the corporation return. However, you have payroll for your business, then the payroll return is quarterly. If you have sales tax for your business, it's also quarterly. Could be monthly, depends on the gross sales. If the gross sales is high over a certain number, you're required to make your payments every month. Payroll, the same thing. Payroll depends on the size of the payroll. Sometimes monthly, sometimes quarterly, and then some payment is next day. So all depends on what you have for your business. But if you just start up, no business, no employees, so basically just once a year, and you make your estimated tax payments every quarter because you're not getting a salary, a W-2, no withholding taking out, so you have to make your quarterly tax payments according to your profit of your business.
Wow. It sounds like a lot of work. A lot of paperwork. I'm glad I'm not in your field, and I'm glad that people hire you to take care of these stuff. But what are some other things you think business owners should do to keep their business afloat financially?
They have to really do an annual review, annual planning with their financial advisor or the accountants, because we work very, very hard for every dollar we bring in our business.
Yes.
And if we're not careful, we're just paying bills. We pay bills all the time. But as they said, you have to pay yourself first. So we have to pay ourselves first. The only way to do it is that you set up a saving account. It's like paying a bills. I'm paying my 401k. I'm paying my retirement plan. So as you treat it like a bill and you're paying it, slowly the account will build up. And somehow it will work out. But if you don't have a plan to hold that money, your money will walk away from you all the time. You can look back to, I don't know, it depends on how old you are, 10 years or 20 years you've been working. If you don't have a saving plan, you don't have much in your saving accounts or retirement account because you don't have a plan. So review your numbers, plan to have a plan. You know,
plan to have a plan.
Right. We don't plan to fail. Most of the time we fail to plan.
Right.
So planning is very important. Even though you haven't made any money yet, you still have to focus on that. Think about that. That's in your thoughts, right? Whatever you think about will come about. If you think, I cannot think about that, I haven't made any money yet, and that's not going to be, that won't happen soon.
You can't do
but
that.
then you can't do that. And they will never, ever happen. So since day one, you got to have that in your head, in your brain, your thoughts, that you're going to set up this saving plan. You can just save for $10, $100. You just have that plan in place since day one. And you will happen because as a business owner, our dream is to have financial freedom. That's why we all work so hard. But you don't plan, you're just working for your business, which is like a job. You own your job.
Can you tell us a little bit about the service that you provide?
So I'm a CPA. I have my own practice for over 15 years. I have office in Long Island, in Manhattan. So I also share office with someone in Queens. So my business helps startups to make the right decision as they start their business, set up the accounting system, review their numbers, hold their hands, help them build their business and help them grow for a couple of years. And then we try to also help them to get a loan or grant so they can expand. Because our goal is for our clients to grow and to expand.
Wait a minute, you just said a key word for all business owners. You help them to get loans and grants.
Yes, yes.
How do you do this?
Well, so your number is the number one thing. You got to file, you got to get your accounting number properly done, and then file your tax return properly. Because no matter where they go, they always ask you 2 years tax returns, 2 years financial statements. So if you do it, that's basically it. It's very simple. You know, so once you do that, you show them the number. Remember, the government, the bank wanted to help you build and grow, and they're willing to lend you, but they need that paper. They need to see that your credit worth, you're doing the right thing, you're working with professions, and then so you can grow to the next step. You know, go to the next level. But if you try to cut corners, not paying your taxes, not reporting your income, you're actually hurting yourself in the long run.
Wow, that's something I really believe that they need to know. What recommendations, because part of a program is about that global audience.
Right.
So what recommendation you will say to individuals trying to do business in the United States, setting up and putting everything together? What would you say to them?
For foreigners to come through
Foreign
here?
coming here to set up a business.
So my business, I deal with a lot of foreigners. They come to this country, they invest, either export, imports, or real estate, rentals.
Where'd they coming from?
China, Europe. So
Okay.
most of my clients, foreign clients, are from Europe and China. They invest mostly in real estate, but there's also some import and exports. Right. So what they do is sometimes they set up a company in here. They set up a company in the United States, and they get a tax ID, and they run their company under the tax ID. Because taxes are a bit different for foreigners. So this is another education. In the beginning, we have to figure out what is the best form for this foreigner to be taxed in this country. Sometimes they don't want themselves to be involved, so they set up a C corporation. Remember, C corporation is not the best form of corporation because of double taxation.
Right.
But for foreigner, they don't have much choices. So sometimes foreigner will do a C corporation, and the double taxation can be eliminated or minimized with proper planning. So for foreigners, there are extra requirements in terms of compliance with the IRS in U.S. states. So they have to know all the in and outs, and also depends on where they from, because there's tax treaties with different countries.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we have to see where they're from, what are the tax treaties, and then also inform them about different type of requirement as a foreigner and how to set up a company here, and then get their tax IDs and all that. So it's more requirements and more compliance for foreigners.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for sharing this knowledge with us today.
Thank you, Dr.
I
Neva.
mean, I know you're brilliant. I've seen you do your presentations, and you're not just here. You actually, I guess I should just say, she helped me with my taxes.
Thank
yes.
you, Dr. Neva.
So welcome to this program.
you.
How can they find you?
They can go to my website at Chunyee at chunyeeglobalcpa.com, or they can call my office 516-522-2780.
Thank you. And you know where to find me. If you don't, I am Dr. Neva. You can find me at drneva.com or Neve Alliance, NEValliance.com. Thank you. Bye-bye.